Jonathan, good stuff. How are you?
I'm good to see you, my friend. How are you?
Yes, I'm very well. So what are you actually tabling here, and will it get a good hearing, do you think?
Well, look, there's been a small group of us, I think it's quite obvious from the signatures on the amendments, that have been working together collectively to come up. And yes, I've got two specific ones as the lead member in my name. One is to actually make it illegal effectively to use hotels, to stop and end the use of hotels, enabling us to actually force the hand to find alternative accommodation in the short term, but ultimately making sure that we do carry on to deliver getting people removed from the UK to safe third countries. And another one that says that even if someone is removed and they try some sort of human rights claim that is, clearly just some sort of lefty lawyers loving, that actually that won't be able to see that person returned back to the UK, and their case would have to be heard even if they're in a safe third country. Because the last thing that we need is to undermine the idea of removing someone who could then be brought back. That will just be godsend for the smuggling gangs who want to bring people over.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, how do you think that the migrant hotel one's going to go down? You might have a tough job there because I suppose the government, I don't know, might not want to back you on it. They seem to love putting them in hotels.
All I can say is that I've had actually very helpful conversations with both Number 10 and the Home Secretary. And look, I'm not looking to push this to a vote. What I'm looking to do is to help the government when it comes to maybe any blockages within the civil service to find alternative accommodation sites, but ultimately also to make it very clear that the hotels have to end. That £7 million a day needs to stop being spent, and that we need to carry on with actually getting on with what the Prime Minister wants to do, which is get people deported to a safe third country. If we do that, then there won't be a need for hotels or even a need to start looking for lots of other accommodation within our United Kingdom. I don't want to see housing use. We do have old MOD sites that for temporary use could be used. We do, I'm sure, have as well, the boats that have been talked about off the coast as well that could be used as well. But also, we should be getting our deals with France for returns agreements. And whilst I accept the Prime Minister worked very hard on that deal with Emmanuel Macron, I was disappointed that for £500 million we didn't get a returns agreement in place, which to me is absolutely critical as well if we're going to stop this.
Well, yeah, I mean, Emmanuel Macron's got a rather large clean-up bill on his hands now, given what's been going on in Paris and Bordeaux, so we quite possibly have paid for some of that. Thank you very much, yet again, to the British taxpayer being the piggy bank of the world, but there we are. When it comes to the deportations of people now, I know you feel very strongly about this, and a lot of people do. I wasn't shocked to find out that several Labour MPs and a load of lovely celebrities had decided to sign something without any idea what kind of individual was on a deportation flight. So our intelligence services, our government and our security services had all come to the conclusion that this variety of people needed to be deported from Britain. But the intellectual weight of lovey celebs from North London decided, no, it must be horrific and racist. And so they signed a letter to say, well, please, please, please don't deport them. And then some people go on to kill people, deal drugs, rape people, do whatever. I mean, it shouldn't be a shock, should it? I mean, can you trust the people there to actually really want to get control of our borders, Jonathan?
Well, I understand why people are worried, because, as you say, even the leader of the opposition, Sir Keir Starmer, Mr. Flip-Flop, who changes from pillar to post wherever the political wind blows, signed a letter, didn't he, with other colleagues to stop a flight of 50 foreign criminals being deported back to Jamaica. 7 of those, I believe, the Sun uncovered in their report, well done to Harry Cole on that one, showed that 7 had gone on to carry on other crimes. And when he was up in Stoke-on-Trent yesterday and asked the question from Jack Elsom, he refused to apologise and said he stood by his record, which I find astonishing. It just goes to show that Labour can't be trusted and that they are going to cave, as they always will do, to the woke celebrities on Twitter who want a virtue signal at every opportunity. And, of course, they must know better than all of us, because they obviously come out and about in Stoke-on-Trent, knock on the doors I knock on, look at the fact hotels in my constituency have been taken up, look at the fact that we've now got one asylum seeker for every 30 residents in the city centre ward of a True and Hanley, and I'm sure they'll understand, because they're so clever and so pious and virtuous about, why we're so wrong to be angry. The reality is they're out of touch, and the Labour Party's out of touch and can't be trusted either.
Do you think that some people need to get out more? I understand that Keir Starmer decided to grace Stoke-on-Trent with his presence. I'm not sure how much walking around He did particularly, but when they actually, for all of the virtue signalling that we see on social media, and for all of the very loud people and the Gary Linekers of this world that, you know, pipe up, you would be forgiven for thinking, if you just went online, that around half of the British population were dead against this illegal migration bill. But if you look at the actual polling that was put together by Matt Goodwin, you realise that 52% of people are basically banging in favour of it. And in fact, only around 16% of people are completely against it. So you are in the majority, Jonathan.
I know, you wouldn't believe it, would you, if you listen to Twitter? Thankfully, people like you and me aren't bothered about what Twitter has to say. And you are correct, Keir Starmer was up in Stoke-on-Trent talking about crime. I thought it was a good choice of place to go because Stoke-on-Trent Labour are very good career criminals, with one having allegedly been arrested one being arrested for allegedly assaulting an emergency worker, and another one having previously got 16 months in prison for fraud and false accounting. So if he wants to understand criminals, Stoke-on-Trent Labour is the place to clearly learn from. But all I can say is that, you know, at the end of the day, we've got a Labour Party that simply doesn't care about this issue, doesn't even mention it in its 5 missions, wants to pretend it's tough, will try and talk tough, but their plan is simple, just simply to keep processing people without even saying that they would cap the amount of people who are coming in, and without even saying that they would bring down the current 7 in 10 acceptance rate, which is utterly appalling, and they would have safe and legal routes without any understanding of what that actually means, which is essentially gateways from around the world to have millions potentially of people apply to come to this country, overwhelm the system even further. So I just think Labour, I'm more than happy to come out with them. They can bring their minibus up or bring the bus up, whatever they want to do. I'll take them out and about across Stoke-on-Trent, North Kidsgrove and Talk, and they will see why this is definitely, after the cost of living, one of the top issues in my in-tray, and they'll certainly understand if they want to have any hope of chance of winning in this great area of Stoke-on-Trent, North Kidsgrove and Talk, they better get serious and better get a plan. But I'm grateful the Prime Minister and the Home Secretary do have one, and all I want to do is help them deliver it.